Now, let us have the great debate that we can have in a lovely free country like ours, especially on a day like this. Leisa Goddard joins us now from Adoni Media in Queensland, where today there's been plenty of beautiful images coming out of the services there. The wonderful Michael Kroger is in Melbourne, where, as always, and there was a beautiful piece written by a Herald Sun journalist who'd never been to the Shrine of Remembrance, who said that it was something you absolutely have to do at least once in your life. It was beautiful to see. And the wonderful Kristen Abram here as well, from the Libertarian Party, who no doubt, as she wrote today on Facebook, as I'm just checking her page now, that she stands on the shoulders of giants, as we all do. Now, let's start here, Leisa, with you, because it was the President of the Queensland RSL who was talking about how there are, this very night, veterans in the country that will end up being homeless, and we all know about the issues to do with suicide and the rest. I made the obvious point, which was it's all well and good for us all to sit and say the right things today. It's about what we do tomorrow, what we do next month, and does it not speak to a little bit of a hole in our system here, that even when we all unite, that there are people who we are supposed to be uniting around who slip through the cracks?
Yeah, Paul, it's an understatement. I think that you could say it's a little hole in the system. This has been a obvious failing of the system for not just recent years, but decades upon decades. I think there's been more than 70, I think, different sorts of inquiries into mental health and problems for our veterans, and yet still we have more veterans now dying from suicide than we've lost in the Afghanistan war. So, I spent some time in Afghanistan with our troops, embedded with them, and I have the utmost respect for anyone who has the bravery to go and represent and fight for this country and fight for the freedoms that, as you say, we are able today to celebrate or not commemorate Anzac Day because of the risk that they took and the bravery that they showed. And look, we are letting them down. The Salvation Army in Queensland had even worse figures. They were saying it's more than 80 that would be out there tonight sleeping rough. And look, they're proud. They don't want to always admit that they are, do have a military background. But we have to do better by these veterans, because we owe them everything that we enjoy every day of the week here in the lives that we lead.
Yeah, I mean, Michael, I mentioned it, in the era of identity politics, when everyone's competing, it feels, for who is the most this, that or the other. I think the most special, the most amazing are the people who defend their country, right? I think that at no expense should be spared for them to get the rolled goldest of treatments that exist around. The idea that they have to fight a secondary bureaucratic battle, I don't care if we end up spending too much. I don't care if there's double and triple dipping. Guess what? Efficiencies should always be looked for, but the absolute default should be yes, not no. But it is no, and has been no for too long.
This is absurd. You've got people ripping off the NDIS willy-nilly all day, every day, yet these who are the greatest of Australians are homeless. This is shocking. People go into politics and make a difference. If Miles, the Queensland Premier, and other premiers around Australia were paying attention today, they'd be announcing tomorrow that the governments are providing urgent care and housing for any veteran who doesn't have, a roof over his or her head. That would just be a number one priority for any politician who was paying attention, who had a heart, who cared about the country and understood that we are the great democracy we are today because of these people. Because of these people. Without these people, we'd be run by Japanese, the Nazis, if they'd won World War II. We are free today because of these men and women. They should be, as you say, number one on the list, mate. Number one.